Hello students, so welcome to my next online class. So this is the continuation video of the chapter current electricity. So this chapter already I have started, just you can say just before the test. So this will be the continuation of that lesson, right? So in that chapter we have come across the term like current, that means the stream of electrons when they flow from one terminal to another, then there is a production of current, or you can say the rate of flow of charge, that means I equals to Q by T. And the SI unit of current we have seen, that is ampere here. SI unit of charge was coulomb and time was second. That means we can say when one coulomb of charge is passing through a metallic conductor in 1 second, then we say that 1 ampere current has been passed through that conductor. Now we know whenever a current passes through any metallic conductor, it offers, that metallic conductor offers an obstruction to the flow of current. That means there is a term called resistance. A resistance is produced when current tries to flow or charges tries to flow through the conductor. So when you apply a source across the end of the conductor, that means if I consider this one as a conductor, and if at both the ends of the conductor is connected with one battery, that means I am applying a source. That means the charge, that means current will pass from positive terminal of a battery to the negative terminal of a battery. That means the positive charge will move from one terminal to the another, and electrons will flow towards the positive terminal. On the flow of the electrons, when the electrons tries to migrate towards the positive terminal, they collide with other electrons, also with the metal ions. Due to collision of these electrons with other electrons as well as collision with the metal ions, the kinetic energy of electrons gets reduced. That means the velocity of electrons is reduced now. So therefore the current cannot flow as easily as like in the previous case, right? So we say that as the electrons or the current cannot flow easily through the conductor, so there is a production of resistance. So obstruction to the flow of current, we say that is resistance. So what will be the unit of resistance? That is omega. Also we have seen the reciprocal of resistance is called conductance, and here in this video lesson we will just continue the term called Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? You see, the current flowing through a metallic conductor at constant temperature is directly proportional to the applied potential across its ends. That means if any conductor is connected with one voltage source, so more will be the potential difference across this end. That means more voltage you will apply, the more will be the flow of current through that metallic conductor. That means here it is written the current flowing through the metallic conductor at a constant temperature, and there is one condition, that means at constant temperature only the potential difference applied across the end of the conductor is directly proportional to the flow of current, that is V is directly proportional to I. Okay, so when this proportionality sign goes up, we will get a term called R, that is V equals to IR, where R equals to V by I, where R is the resistance, okay, obstruction to the flow of current. SI unit is ohm. Now there are certain limitations. So everywhere Ohm's law cannot be applied. So the substances where we can apply Ohm's law, they are called ohmic substances, and the substances which do not obey Ohm's law are called non-ohmic substances. In ohmic substances we will find that the graph between V and I is a straight line. So when we find a straight line is straight and it is starting from origin, we say that it is an ohmic substance or ohmic graph. And non-ohmic substances are those substances which do not obey Ohm's law. So what are the limitations? That means Ohm's law is not applicable for vacuum tubes, for metal rectifiers and electricity through the gases. So if any vessel is containing some gas and you are applying the potential across the end of the tubes, that in that case Ohm's law will not be applicable. Okay, so that is the limitation, that is disadvantage. Next we say that it is applicable at constant temperature only. That means that physical conditions remain same, then only the Ohm's law can be applied. Like you see, if you increase the temperature of a wire, how much potential you are applying across the wire, same current will not flow, because increase in temperature increases the resistance. So due to increase in resistance, the current in that conductor will not be same to the applied potential. Okay, so therefore if the temperature of the wire is same, then how much potential you are applying across the conductor, same amount of current will be flowing through that metallic conductor. Okay, so this was Ohm's law. So experimental verification of Ohm's law you see here in the diagram. Here always the voltmeter is connected across the resistance. So this is a circuit from where we can verify here Ohm's law. So always the voltmeter is connected parallel with the resistance, and ammeter will be in series with the battery. So battery, one end it is connected with rheostat, one end is connected with here with the point C, that is a terminal of voltmeter and resistance, and other end is connected with the rheostat, and rheostat is connected with key is connected with further ammeter. Okay, so these are the positions where voltmeter and ammeter are connected. Ammeter is an instrument which is used to measure the magnitude of current passing through the circuit, and voltmeter detects the voltage across the terminal. So we know in parallel connection voltage remains same. So how much voltage is developed across this resistance R, same voltage reading will be shown by this voltmeter. Okay, and the rheostat is the variable resistance. So if we need to control the flow of current across the circuit, we can change this rheostat by sliding the jockey. This is called, this arrow is called jockey. So by sliding this jockey, so we can control the current. Okay, so likewise you see one table is given here. So when we change the resistance, when we change the voltage first, so if we apply here voltage, this battery, if we change the magnitude of battery by replacing the battery again and again, that means we'll get a voltmeter reading and the current reading. Or if you make the voltage, the battery a same battery, but if you change the resistance, then voltmeter reading and ammeter reading will change. Okay, so if we divide V by I, the value of V divided by V by I here every time, then we will find that ratio remains same. That means V by I so will show the constant resistance. So therefore resistance is nothing but a potential difference by current, that means R equals to V by I. Now I was talking about ohmic conductors. So ohmic conductors are those conductors which obey Ohm's law. So in that case, in that substances, if we plot a graph between V and I, V on y axis and I on x axis, we will find a straight line. So this is an ohmic graph. Okay, that means change in voltage by change in current remains same. So to find the slope here, we will find change in voltage by change in current. At this point in class 9 you have seen, we can substitute here y2 minus y1 minus x2 minus x1. Okay, so by calculating slope formula, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, we can calculate the slope, and whatever slope we will be getting, that is the resistance of this wire. So similarly we can find the resistance of this graph also. So likewise we will be plotting one line. Okay, we will find the slope separately and slope separately. That means you see, if the temperature is getting varied, if different temperature, we will get different line. So Ohm's law is not varied here. So we say that those substances which does not obey Ohm's law are non-ohmic substances, and the graph is here non-ohmic graph. So you see, sometimes it is increasing, sometimes again it is increasing. That means fixed straight line we won't be getting. This is the difference between ohmic conductor and non-ohmic conductor. Ohmic conductors are those conductors which obey Ohm's law. Non-ohmic conductors are those conductors which does not obey Ohm's law. So here we find that VI graph is a straight line, and here it is not a straight line. So the slope of VI graph is same at all the values of V. That means across the end, at each and every point, the slope will be same. But here in case of non-ohmic graph, the slope won't be same. That means the slope of VI graph is different at values of V or I. That means at different point of V and I, the slope will be different. Superconductors are those conductors which loses its resistance at low temperature. So in Ohm's law we have seen, if we change the temperature of any metallic conductor, then the current flowing through that metallic conductor also gets changed. So reason just now I told that if you increase the temperature, then the resistance of that wire will get increased. Due to increase in that resistance of that wire, the current flowing through that metallic conductor will also gets reduced. That means increase in resistance, decrease in conductivity, that means decrease in current. So with the same concept, if you think in the converse way, if we decrease the resistance now, that time we were increasing the resistance, current was getting reduced. Now here, to make a superconductor, what we are doing here, we are reducing the resistance. If you reduce the resistance, then the conductivity will get increased. Okay, and those conductors are called superconductors. So how we are going to define the superconductors? So superconductors are those conductors which loses its electrical resistance at low temperature. So you will decrease the resistance of that conductor in certain level, that is a critical temperature, so that a normal conductor gets transformed to superconductor. They become superconductors. So what is the specialty of superconductors? So in superconductors we reduce the resistance by lowering its temperature. So if we lower its temperature, definitely its resistance will get reduced, and due to decrease in resistance, its conductivity gets increased infinitely. Okay, so we use the superconductors in computers, we use many in other applications. This superconductors plays a vital role. Next topic, we have combination of resistance. So this is the heart of this chapter. So numericals will be based upon this combination of resistance. So resistance can be combined or it can be connected whether in series or in parallel. So if the resistance R1, R2 and R3, if they are connected in series and this being connected with one battery, we know current flows from positive terminal to negative terminal. When these resistances are connected one after another, then we say that they are connected in series. Now the same current passes through three branches, like a same branch, and through same resistance. That means current remains same in series connection. Okay. So as current remains same, voltage remains different. That means potential drop across R1 is V1, potential drop across R2 is V2, and potential drop across R3 is V3. That means total voltage equals to summation of V1 plus V2 plus V3. Okay. So why we have taken V1, V2 and V3? Because current remains same, and what remains different? Voltage across that resistance remains different. That means V equals to V1 plus V2 plus V3, and we know V1 equals to IR1, V2 equals to IR2, and V3 equals to IR3. So in place of V1, IR1, IR2 and IR3. If I take I common and V equals to IR, I and I will get cancelled. So we will get R equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3. So what is the expression for a resistance connected in series? That is total resistance equals to algebraic sum of R1 plus R2 plus R3. So like this we can calculate its total resistance. For example, if I say this is 2 ohm and this is 3 ohm and this is 4 ohm. So what is the total resistance of this circuit? That means just we are going to add 2 plus 3, 5, 5 plus 4, 9. That means 9 ohm is the equivalent resistance of this combination, right? Similarly, if the resistances are connected in parallel, that means R1 and R2 and R3, they are connected parallelly and their terminals both are connected with the battery. So you see, when I amount of current is passing here, now voltages across R1, R2 and R3 remains same. That means voltage remains same in parallel. So here voltage same, and in series connection we have seen current is same. So if current is same, V is different, and if voltage is same here, current is different. I means current is different, right? Now as current is different, so total current passing through this circuit will be I equals to I1. Here I1 amount of current is passing here. Here I2 amount of current is passing. Here I3 amount of current is passing. So that means total current equals to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Again I1 equals to V by R1. I2 equals to V by R2. I3 equals to V by R3. Now if we take V common and V get cancelled, we will get 1 by Rp, that is equivalent resistance of connected in parallel equals to algebraic sum of the reciprocal of the resistance. That means 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Okay. Similarly, if it is 2 ohm, 3 ohm and 4 ohm, then 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4 will solve, then we will get the equivalent resistance. Okay. So sometimes we will find that we will get a mixed connection also, like mix of series as well as parallel. Now if I give one resistance here, like for example, one resistance is this one, and here one battery. Let us consider this is 2 ohm, this is 2 ohm, and this is 2 ohm. Okay, and I have asked calculate the equivalent resistance between A and B. So we will say that let us consider this R1, this is R2, and this is R3. First we will say R2 and R3 are in parallel. So these two are in parallel, that means 1 by R dash, that means answer of this is 1 by R dash equals to 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2. So we will get here 2, 2 if you take LCM, so we will get 1 by 1. If you cross multiply, R dash equals to 1 ohm. Now this total answer became 1 ohm. Now this 1 ohm and this are in series, therefore R dash and R1 are in series, and we know R equivalent will be, series means this plus 1, so this total answer we got 1 ohm, that means 1 plus 2, or 2 plus 1, that is 3 ohm. So answer of this circuit, total equivalent resistance is 3 ohm. Right? Now if I say 12 volt is the voltage of this battery, so how much current is passing through here in this circuit? So if it is asked how much current, that means we can find current equals to V equals to IR, or I equals to V by R. So what was the voltage? Voltage was 12, and what was the resistance here? 3. That means 3 4 12, that is 4 ampere. Then how much current is passing through this circuit? 4 ampere. So like this numericals also you need to solve. First we have to calculate the equivalent resistance. After calculation of the equivalent resistance, voltage will be given. Then we can calculate the current easily. Or other way, suppose resistance you are calculating and current is given, you have to find the voltage, that also we can find. Okay, so in series connection, directly algebraically we will be adding all the resistance, and in parallel combination we will take algebraic sum of the reciprocals of the resistance. So you can see in the board I have drawn one circuit here. So we need to calculate the equivalent resistance between X and Y. Now how to find out which resistances are connected in series? So first we have to determine the resistance connected in series as well as the resistances connected in parallel. So you see, first we will always start from the innermost part. Innermost part is this one. You see, if a current is passing through this resistance, so same current will going to pass through other resistance also. That means we will say that this branch is in series, so therefore 4 and 4 are in series, right? So this equivalent will say that R dash, that means 4 plus 4 ohm, that is 8 ohm, is in series. Now this 8 ohm is in parallel with this, so let us consider here name R1, R2, R3, R4 and R5. So here we will be writing here R1 and R2 are in series. Okay, so R1 and R2 are in series, so R dash equals to, directly we will add it. Now we will say here R dash and R3 are in parallel. So if they are in parallel, that means R double dash equals to 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8. We know LCM is 8, that is 2 plus 1, that is 3 by 8. That is 1 by R double dash, or R double dash will be 8 by 3 if you reciprocal it. Okay, let us keep it here only. R double dash is 8 by 3. Now we got these three resistance. Now this resistance R4, R5 and R double dash are in series. Okay, so R equivalent equals to R4 plus R5 plus R double dash. So that is 4 plus 4 plus 8 by 3, or 8 plus 8 by 3. 4 plus 4, 8. If we take LCM, 24. 24 plus 8, that is 32 by 3. You can keep your answer in decimal or in fraction. Okay, so this is how we are going to solve any complex circuit. So first we have to determine which resistances are connected in series, and then that resistance answer is in parallel with other resistance or series with other resistance. That one we have to determine. So with this concept you will be solving these example questions. Okay, you try these example questions. You see these are connected in parallel, this also connected in parallel, but their answer is in series with each other. From there we'll get the resistance, and already the voltage is given, so from here we can get the current passing through the circuit. Okay, so example questions you will practice, and you need to do the exercises also. Okay, so exercise questions are also there. So let's explain this one, how to solve this question. So let's see what was the question. The combination of the resistors shown in figure, find the equivalent resistance between A and B and C and D. That is between A and B and C and D, right? So to calculate resistance between A and B, first we will say that R4 or R2, R3 and R4, they are in series. So 3 plus 3 plus 3, that is 9, and this 9 is in parallel with R5, that means 1 by 9 plus 1 by 3. Okay, so whatever answer you are getting, that is the resistance between A and B, and this answer is in series with both the 3 ohms. We'll calculate, then we'll get the total resistance. Okay, so here also you see, calculate the resistance between the point X and Y. So these are in series, so that series answer is in parallel with 1.5. Okay, we'll find the parallel. Similarly here, first this is in series, this is in parallel with this. Now whatever answer you're getting, then all three are in series. So like this numericals also you will try to solve, and let me know if you are facing problem. Okay, in the next class we will solve those doubt. So this will be your homework. So next topic we have electromotive force. When no current is drawn from a cell, that is the circuit is in open, that means open circuit, the potential difference across the terminals of the cell is called electromotive force. That means when you are not drawing any current from the cell, okay, the cell is an open circuit, that means the potential difference across that cell is the EMF, that means electromotive force, and it depends upon the electrolyte inside the electrolytic cell and the distance between the electrodes, that means cathode and anode. Okay, the plates of the cathode and anode and the liquid within that battery. So EMF depends upon that. Also we have the terminal voltage, the term called the terminal voltage of a cell. So you see the definition written here. When current is drawn from the cell, that means when the cell is connected in the circuit, the potential difference across the electrodes of the cell. Now when it is connected in the circuit, now the voltage across the end of the cell is the terminal voltage. We prepare the difference between EMF of cell and terminal voltage also. This also questions comes in several times. And when I say the internal resistance of the cell, that means the resistance offered by the battery, that means the resistance inside the battery. So electrical cell is a device used to generate electric current. Usually it consists of two different plates called cathode electrodes, that is cathode and anode, and electrolytes within it. So this internal resistance, when I say, that means resistance inside the cell. So when this current passes through any electrolytic cell, that means through a battery, it passes through electrolyte, and the cathode and anode, they offer some resistance to the flow of this current. So that resistance is called the internal resistance. Internal resistance is always drawn across the battery with a small r. Okay, it is denoted by small r. So when I say the circuit has a internal resistance of 2 ohm, that means you need to draw 2 ohm across the negative terminal. So in a board you can see one diagram. I have made one diagram here, that is A and B. These two resistors are connected with one battery, and there is an internal resistance in the circuit. That means this internal resistance means the resistance offered by the electrolyte and cathode and anode in the battery. Okay, so this internal resistance is always connected with the negative terminal. Now when I say what is the total current passing through the circuit, that means total current I equals to total EMF, or you can say total voltage by total resistance. Okay, so when I say I, total EMF, when I say that is E, and total resistance capital R plus small r. That means capital R we will calculate from here, that is R equals to R1 plus R2. So whatever answer we will be getting, that we will place here an internal resistance. Now when we cross multiply, we will get I R plus R. So E equals to IR, I into R, and IR we know that is voltage, plus IR, or we can say IR equals to E minus V, or R equals to E minus V by I. So we can calculate the internal resistance in this way, right? So internal resistance equals to E minus V by I. So there are certain factors which affect the internal resistance, we'll see now. So internal resistance depends upon first factor, that is surface area of the electrode. If the cathode and anode which is used in that battery, if that surface area is very big, that means if the plates of this cathode and anode is very large, then the internal resistance will be less. Distance between the electrode, if more the distance between the cathode and anode, then internal resistance will also increase. It also depends upon temperature. Higher the temperature of the electrolyte, smaller is the internal resistance. That means if the temperature is increased, internal resistance will get decreased. And density or the concentration of the electrolyte, the internal resistance of a cell depends upon the concentration of electrolyte, because concentrated solution offers more resistance to the flow of electric current. Okay, so these are the factors, these are the four factors which affect the internal resistance of a cell. Okay, again we have some examples here. We'll go through the examples and the exercise questions. So lots of homework I have given this time. Okay, so you need to write, you know that if quickly we'll finish our chapter, so we can revise also. Now you see the syllabus has been reduced, but in my perception the syllabus is same, so you have to work very hard. Okay, till then, goodbye. So practice well and let me know if you have any doubt. So numericals I will be solving in the next classes, which you will ask me the doubts, questions and all. So few questions I'll just show in the next video, and we'll start a new chapter. Okay, thank you.